What, in your own words, was it like going through the criminal justice system?
My own words. Going through the criminal justice system was the most depressing, one of the most horrifying good things that happened to me, right? So it was bad and it was good. It was bad in the sense that in the beginning I went through a lot of tragedies. My son was murdered, and trying to access mental health, they told me that it was situational, and so they didn't really want to, give me mental health. And then with my mother dying after that, but then it was good in a sense because with dealing with loss, I had several other friends who lost their mother, or who lost their kids, and I took a grief and loss class, so I was able to be that comfort for them. I could understand, right? I could show that empathy to them. And then it's like scared straight, right? One time for me and I'm good. And so in a sense, it taught me a lot of things about responsibility, acceptance, discipline, structure. It gave me a lot of structure. So it was good and it was bad. It's not something I would want to see anybody go through. But I mean, if you do go in there, you can learn a lot.
So yeah, if you could talk a little bit, it sounds like you learned a lot while you were in there. You had to experience a lot of things. How long were you actually involved in the criminal justice system?
I did 6 years. I did a little over 6 years. I did in prison for drug trafficking, right? So, but before that, I had a previous drug trafficking charge. So I think maybe then, if I had went and got some help then, I might have not went to prison. But when I did go to prison, I may have had like 1 or 2 prior arrests. I didn't really get involved in crime until I came to the state of New Mexico. And then I didn't even get no charges until I was like age 35. And then they were drug charges. And then they were, the charge that I got was trafficking cocaine. But once I went to jail, I seen everything else. Heroin, meth, ice, people shooting up, things that I've never been exposed to until I went to jail. Right. And so then just, being in that system and, seeing people, struggle in that revolving door, I just could not understand why people kept coming back until I got out. And now I can completely understand why the recidivism rate is so high.
Right. So what do you think is the main contributor to the recidivism rate being so high?
Individuals having a mental health and a substance abuse co-occurring, right? So even if you go to prison, you have access to mental health. You can get it eventually. But the substance abuse, we're not treating it. So therefore, and the substances that can continue to go into prison, we're not treating it. So instead of maybe sending somebody directly to prison, maybe address the individual problems that the person might have. Because if you just send them to prison and they're not getting substance abuse treatment and they're not getting mental health treatment and they have these co-occurring and then they get released and to nothing. Because when I got released, my mother died when I was in prison. My son died and my father died before I got to prison. I had no family, right? And so a lot of people get out and have family but don't have them, right? Because their family's done with them, their kids are done with them. And so me, I didn't even have no family. And so that could be a rough thing for someone who is having a substance abuse problem. Because, what do? You can't get a job. You can't get a place. What are you supposed to do?
So, you did a lot of time, a significant amount of time in prison. You've transitioned out. And from the looks of it, you seem to be pretty successful. What do you feel was the main thing that contributed to your success?
One of the things that contributed to my success was the peer support. I seen another peer do an amazing job working at like Echo, right? Carissa. And I was like, okay, she's been to prison. What do you do, right? I want to do what you do. And so I think that has a lot to do with my success, is seeing someone who has done prison time with me, or prison time period, right? And being able to reach out to that person, and then that person connected me to another place, which has led to here, right? So it was the connection, the peer connection.
Yeah. Okay, so now could you talk a little bit about the work that you're doing right now?
Right. So I work, this is a peer-run organization, which means that everybody here has some type of lived experience. Where I work, most of the individuals we work with are homeless. 95% we do work with returning citizens. So when they come here, it's called Pathways, and what it is that they can pick 3 things. If they pick 4 or 5, we'll work on the 3 most important things, right? So if you need housing and you need a job and you need a driver license and you need a birth certificate, right? So we'll help with those other things, but we'll also help you with your birth certificate, right? We'll look for resources to try to find it. We'll help you resume build. We'll help you look for a job. It's whatever it is you want. It's person-centered. So it's whatever that person wants. So we're willing to put in just as much work as you, but not more than you.
Right. Do you feel that has helped with the recidivism rate, or people, avoiding the criminal justice system?
I think it's helping with the recidivism rate. I really do. It's, especially when they see other individuals who may have been locked up themselves, so I can share my stories. They could come in here and say, I can't find a job. I just got out of prison. I can't find this and that. And I could be like, I just got out of prison, right? There is a way, right? We can try to find you a job. Try this or try that. So I do think it's helped if we can make that connection. I think that the connection needs to be made on the inside with peers, and that way we can show them. We can lead by example. We can say, go here, go here. We can refer them and say, hey, you could do this. With our help, we can show you.
Right. Yeah. Well, it seems like, Stacy, you're doing excellent work, and I thank you for that. If you had one thing that, you wish you could have told yourself, your younger self, in order to just avoid the whole life of being involved with the criminal justice system, what advice would you give younger Stacy?
Go to get an education. Get an education, something that you want to do that's meaningful to you, and get an education and do that, and be a leader and be an educator, and not a follower. And that's what I would tell my younger self. And I think that if I would have got that advice a while back, I would still be a leader like I am, but I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have that background, which is okay because it's who I am. So, I wouldn't change that. But that's the advice that I would give to other people that come in here. Hey, that's the one thing I say. You want to go to school? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, you can do this, but you just have to work hard for it.
All right. Well, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.